Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, the Drafted Up Podcast. One episode this week. We got some holiday stuff going on, so we're going to do week 16, the full slot. Thursday, a game on Saturday, maybe two, I'm not sure.
Two
And then
games Saturday.
2 games, all right. And then the Sunday and Monday games. We also got our plays of the week. That's Nick. I'm Theo. This is the Drafted Up Podcast. You're watching. You already know where to find the show. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all that stuff. But if you haven't, like the show, rate the show, review it, all that good stuff, subscribe, whatever. It helps the show grow. We appreciate that. Nicholas, how you doing on this cold Tuesday evening?
Dude, the weather's been insane here. Not to talk weather, but we're well under the average for temperature. It's literally 12 degrees the last 2 days. It's been absolutely miserable. I'm just ready for the holidays, man. Just give me some actual holiday time, because if it's not holiday time and it's just cold, what are we doing, bro? The wind, I don't like it. Give me those nice summer days.
No to the summer, too hot. Give me a good spring or fall day.
Well, yeah, fall's my favorite, but as I'm getting older, dude, I've switched. I'm tired of winter. I don't need to deal with the snow, the wind, any of that jazz, bro. Just send me outside on a nice 70, 80 degree night and just not even worry about anything. Watch the stars, dude.
Yeah, we had our first big snowfall. And it was only supposed to be a coating, and I wake up and there's 6 inches of snow, and the plow truck plowed my car in, so that was a good way to start my Sunday. You know who didn't have a good Sunday? Packers fans and Chiefs fans. Micah Parsons, torn ACL, done for the year. Might creep in the next year. And Patrick Mahomes, superstar quarterback, torn ACL, same situation, might creep in the next year. We shall see, because 8 months will put them both into August, which is right at the end of camp. So it wouldn't surprise me if both those guys are on the pup to start the year. So that'll be some talk, more so Mahomes than Parsons, for off-season stuff, rankings, all that good jazz. And then Chiefs officially eliminated from the playoffs, so their season is a wash. Packers are in the midst of it. They're fighting for the division. They got a big game this week against the Bears, so we'll see how that fares for them. Bam Knight went on the IR for the Cardinals. It looks like his season's done going forward for them. So more for Jacoby Brissett, who managed to be a top 12 quarterback once again against the Texans. Superstar Jacoby Brissett. Anything else news-wise?
Devontae Adams, he's now week to week. He's not going to play Thursday. I don't expect him to play next week, or honestly, you're not going to have him probably for the rest of the fantasy season in my eyes. I think they're going to shut him down, just go slow into the playoff shape, make sure he's healthy, because the Rams are really poised to make a deep playoff run. Kind of what they're doing with Kyron. He has not been getting the full workload. Blake Corum has been heavily involved. Touchdown and another touchdown this week. Kyron a big week as well, but Blake Corum is heavily involved. So I just kind of think the Rams are coasting until playoffs.
Yeah. They got the big game this week. They're the Thursday matchup against the Seahawks, and that'll be our first game we dive into. And Robodunze, he was supposed to be active on Sunday for the Bears, and he re-aggravated his injury right before the game started. So that kind of mucked things up there. If you had Robodunze, he probably doesn't play this week against the Packers, so mind that. Luther Burden also was a non-participant in practice today, so we might be in line for another big DJ Moore week. We shall see going forward there for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, and I don't really know how confident I would be just playing DJ Moore this far into the fantasy playoffs. It's a risky situation. We'll obviously get to the Bears game.
Yeah. All right. Ready to get into these W Energy plays of the week?
I believe so. Quick news week, kind of nice. I mean, big news with the Mahomes and Micah Parsons news, but
name-wise injuries,
Nothing too deep after that, though.
So these are our W Energy plays of the week. One of us is looking to eat that dub. I got it last week, thanks to DeAndre Swift's huge game against the Cleveland Browns. Really was the big difference maker there. For my squad, W Energy, good, clean energy, be better, eat that dub. They got 2 new flavors coming out. One's like a collab with an anime. The name's slipped my mind, but it's like a a grapefruit grape, white grape, or a melon grape combo. And then the other one is a non-alcoholic strawberry margarita. So check them out. Use the code DRAFTEDUP at w.gg or download the app DUBBY on your app store, and you'll get 10% off your purchase. It's the holiday season. Get your loved ones some Dubby Energy for Christmas. Nick, you want to start this off? Who's your quarterback play of the week?
He's a quarterback we named very, very briefly a couple minutes ago. It's Jacoby Brissett versus Atlanta this week. Like you said, he's been a top 12 quarterback every single week he started since week 6 on. He's thrown 2 touchdowns in every single one of those games except one where he only had 1, but he has thrown a touchdown in every single game he started. This offense is like a fully functioning passing offense. And now with no Bam Knight, the running back crew is Michael Carter and DeMarcado's back, so it's going to be a mix between those two guys. No one really knows who's going to be the workhorse back or what's going to happen. I expect it to be a 50-50 timeshare. But in order for Arizona to be even in this game versus Atlanta, and Atlanta's not a good team right now, so both teams are struggling. Arizona's defense has allowed 40 points in 4 out of 5 games, something crazy like that. Their defense just isn't existent. So Brissett has to go out there and sling the rock, and he's done that. He's had over 40 passes in every single one of his starts except one of them. So I expect it to continue here with Jacoby Brissett being a top 12 quarterback. I'm just trying to make this little comeback here, man. I have a generational fumble, man. I started 4-0 or some crazy like that, and you just slowly started coming back. So
yeah,
I think I got to take these next 2 weeks in order for me to even be in the race.
Yeah, been stacking those. Yeah, I'm 8-6-1. Makes you 6-8-1.
Yep.
I'm going with a popular name. He's been on the segment multiple times. That's Jared Goff, Detroit Lions. They're at home against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's passing secondary, not great, though they shut down Tua this week, but that's Tua Tagovailoa. This is Jared Goff. Absolute different story. The Lions, they're like an every other week big boom team. They didn't have a big boom this past week, so once again they're due home game
5 big booms.
No, not. Don't reference them. Jared Goff, like I said, Pittsburgh struggles to stop the pass. Lions, Jared Goff's been efficient this year. I think you can go in. Chances are Jared Goff is a good stream option. You may have him already as you enter your semifinals here in fantasy football playoffs. So I think you can play Jared Goff with confidence. Like I said, Pittsburgh can't stop the pass. This should be a home game for the Lions. This should be a big week for Mr. Goff and the Lions offense.
Hell yeah. I'll keep it just rolling here. Running back start of the week, podcast darling, Chase Brown versus Miami in Miami. So the weather's not going to be a huge issue. It's going to not be freezing like it's been in most of the country the last week or so. And Chase Brown has been on such a roll, dude. We've talked about his schedule going forward, how much he's been involved in the passing game. And thankfully the passing game is fully there. He had 7 receptions last week on 7 targets because he only had 53 yards on the ground. Didn't have a rushing touchdown, didn't have a receiving touchdown, but he's so involved in the passing game that it all just makes up for it. And Miami, you can run on. They're not a good run defense. I think Chase Brown's role continues. The lowest he's finished since week 6 is RB13. So he's almost an RB1 every single week since week 6. Week 8, something like that. He has been on such a roll. And this is the Chase Brown like we thought. Joe Flacco made such a difference on this team. And now Joe Burrow being back, it's still rolling for Chase Brown. It's not going to stop versus Miami. And then if you have Chase Brown going into championship week next week, he has Arizona. And that is such a great matchup for Chase Brown. And honestly, the Bengals, all of them going forward. And I get last week they completely dropped the ball versus Baltimore, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
They were shut out. And even Vegas got that one on. Vegas legitimately had that as a 50-point over-under, and it just didn't happen. The Bengals were shut out. Lamar Jackson, I think, passed the ball 9 times. It just wasn't the fantasy output anyone expected. So throw that game out to the window. Chase Brown versus Miami in the nice weather. He is going to have another monster reception game. Count it. It's going to happen. Chase Brown, start of the week, RB1 going forward.
All right. At running back, I'm going with another guy we've talked a ton about through the offseason in the process. And that's rookie running back Amarian Hampton of the Los Angeles Chargers. They travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Hampton's just coming back from the injury. Played 31% of the snaps his first game back, 39 this past week. It's time to ramp him up. I think that's what they did those first 2 games, kind of eased him back in. You got a Cowboys team that's been better since the trade deadline, and stopping the run, acquiring Quinnen Williams has helped this run defense, but the Chargers' success for them to continue to make a playoff push is on the back of this running attack. It's time to let Hampton loose. I think going in, you can lock him into your lineup here in a good matchup. Not as good as it was a couple weeks ago in the Cowboys, but still a upside matchup. Hampton should be in line for touchdowns here against the Dallas Cowboys. So keep rolling with the rookie superstar.
Hell yeah, I almost went with Hampton as well, so I do like that pick a lot. Wide receiver start of the week for me, I'm going to go with a rookie, just like you did with running backs. I got Tetairoa McMillan, Carolina versus Tampa Bay. This is a huge matchup. Carolina completely dropped the ball last week versus New Orleans, letting New Orleans get that win over them. So Tampa and New Orleans back-to-back weeks, or Tampa and Carolina completely just dropping the opportunity right in New Orleans' lap. Carolina could have clinched the division if they would have beat New Orleans and then they beat Tampa this week. They could have. That was their division to win.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have to go or it's in Carolina. They have to beat Tampa, and then they have Seattle, which is an insane matchup. But then they have Tampa at Tampa, week 18. That's going to be the game for the division. I'm so confident in that. I honestly think Carolina shows up big, and they're going to have to hyper target Tetairoa McMillan. They're going to have to rely on Rico Dowdle. They're going to have to use their stars, their weapons to get this job done, and you can pass on Tampa Bay. I really expect Tetairoa McMillan to be hyper-targeted. We've seen him have 10 targets, 11 targets, 12 targets, like in games, double-digit targets. And if Bryce Young wants to be able to get the ball out quick and get it out fast, it's going to have to be the Tetairoa McMillan just doing whatever he can, because he is the alpha number one on this receiving crew. So he is a rookie I believed in all throughout the process. He was my number one receiver in the draft class. He was a top 5 prospect in my eyes. And he has proven, not consistently this year, but he has shown flashes that he is that alpha wide receiver. And I honestly think we see it this week versus Tampa Bay in Carolina. It's a home game. Show up in front of those fans and show them why you were drafted so early. Be that alpha number one and go get those targets, get the receptions, maybe get in the end zone for a big time play. Tetairoa McMillan, start of the week for week 16.
I like that. Tampa secondary's banged up. Vibes in general in Tampa really bad. The vulgar press conference from Todd Bowles after that Thursday loss to Atlanta. I don't like how it's going. And based off Carolina's history, if this is a game they win, they always beat the better teams. Making his debut on plays of the week, Green Bay Packers wide receiver Jayden Reed at Chicago. Divisional matchup, big game. Packers Bears. Bears currently sitting in first place, number 2 seed in the NFC. Packers with that loss to Denver last week, they kind of fell. So now they're a wild card team. Christian Watson, his status is up in the air. He avoided a major injury, but he may miss this week. Time will tell. It's only Tuesday, so we don't have a ton of info there. Jayden Reed is, they're ramping him up as well. Like, he just came back 2 weeks ago. He was involved this past week, had a nice little game. Not great for fantasy, but a nice 10 points, full PPR. Now, if Christian Watson's not out there, Jayden Reed is their most athletic, their best player at wide receiver for big explosive plays, and that's what they're going to need to beat the Bears. You can pass on Chicago. It is a great matchup. Tough to run on the Bears. They're going to have to put it in Jordan Love's hands, and Jayden Reed is their big playmaker. I expect this to be the big game that we've been expecting from Jayden Reed since his return, and it could be a league-winning type situation here for Jayden Reed going forward with Christian Watson unknown in terms of his health. But I love Jayden Reed here against the Bears. Divisional matchup, potentially division on the line. So I think you lock him in your lineup. Easy matchup.
And Jayden Reed has that potential. Like, we've seen Jayden Reed have those DJ Moore kind of games where it's 3 touchdowns, 150 yards on 4 or 5 catches. Absolutely not a lot of work, but he can do anything with a ball when it's in his hands. So that is such a big time play, and he could easily go off this week if Christian Watson's not out there. Matthew Golden's not heavily involved. He was this week. He was used a little bit, so hopefully they're able to get Golden involved. You love to see it for a rookie receiver. I'm not huge on Golden, but get that guy involved. Give him some chances. Dontavius Wicks, I'm pretty sure, is banged up, so he might not even be out there, just opening up more opportunities for Jayden Reed. So I honestly think Jaden Reed is the number one receiver in this room going forward, even with Christian Watson being the big time guy. But in my eyes, Reed is so much more talented than any other wide receiver in that room. You just have to get that guy the ball. He is so talented.
Yeah, let's round it out. Tight ends.
Tight ends, I'm going on the heels of a big 8 targets, 7 receptions, 66 yards, and 2 tutties game Monday night versus Pittsburgh. Give me Darren Waller versus Cincinnati Bengals, an historical, terrible tight end stopping defense. They cannot stop the tight end. They've been terrible all year. The Ravens didn't figure that out last week with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. They had prime opportunity to get both those guys heavily involved. And they kind of got Zay Flowers working. Zay Flowers had a nice little touchdown, I'm pretty sure. But Darren Waller, Monday night, 2 touchdowns, 8 targets. He is going to be the focal point. Even if Tua gets benched, Zach Wilson's still going to get Darren Waller heavily involved because at the end of the day, Mike McDaniels is such an offensive schemed head coach. He knows the weaknesses of every defense he plays, and the defense for the Cincinnati Bengals cannot stop a tight end. And Darren Waller is so fast. He's so big. He's so athletic. He is going to be open almost every single play come Sunday. So I think Darren Waller is in line to have a Mondo league-winning performance from the tight end spot. He's no Kyle Pitts from last week, but it wouldn't shock me if Darren Waller goes out there and pulls a 8-9 reception game for over 100 yards and a touchdown. I think Darren Waller is going to have a crazy game.
Yeah, I like that. Keep playing the Bengals matchup. I think the Baltimore game last week was just an outlier.
I agree.
For the tight end situation. I'm going out there. Sometimes you got to get gross in the playoffs. And this one is a Thursday nighter. Rams tight end Colby Parkinson against the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday. It's a revenge game, but that has no effect on to why I picked Colby Parkinson. Davante Adams probably not going to be out there. Colby Parkinson has scored a touchdown 5 of the last 6 weeks. He was a top 5 tight end last week. He had 7 targets. He brought in 5. He had 2 touchdowns. Like I said, 5 of 6 in scoring touchdowns. He is a touchdown threat, and that's what you're chasing here at the tight end position. If you're streaming it with Adams out, they need a second option in the pass game, and it looks like it's Colby Parkinson. Matt Stafford, he does rely on the tight ends. We've seen this with Tyler Higbee year in and year out. Tyler Higbee shows up at times and has become really fantasy relevant with Matthew Stafford, and now it's Colby Parkinson. Touchdown upsides there. No Davante Adams. It opens up targets. I think Parkinson is a great play here for the Rams against Seattle. And Seattle's defense is great, but they do give it up at the tight end position. So I think if you've been streaming the tight end position week in and week out, I think Colby Parkinson gives you a ton of upside on Thursday night against the Seahawks.
It is a risky pick for sure, but I do see the appeal behind it. And with Davante Adams not being out there on a Thursday, it's going to open up a ton of red zone opportunity for him. I'm just worried that they're just going to go back to what they were doing and start giving Kyron the ball around the goal line if Davante Adams isn't there, because they know that works. That Kyron was a touchdown machine prior to Davante Adams stealing all of these 1-2 yard touchdowns. So I do like it, and sometimes you have to get risky in the fantasy playoffs with tight ends. So I respect the hell out of that pick.
Yeah. There we go. Those are our W Energy plays of the week. Eat those dubs, be better, W Energy, good, clean energy, no artificial dyes, no sweeteners, none of that good stuff. Ton of new flavors. They're rolling them out, like I said at the beginning. Use the code DRAFTED for a nice 10% discount anytime you use it over at w.gg or through the W mobile app. All right. You ready to roll? Week 16?
Oh, yeah, dude. Big Thursday night game.
Yeah. We foreshadowed it. The Los Angeles Rams. They travel to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Seahawks 1.5 point home favorites. The over-under set at 44.5. Right now, these two teams are tied for first place. So this is a big game here. Rams probably without Davante Adams. So if you're an Adams owner, he's probably been a big part in you getting this far. Make sure you have a pivot out there. It's tough to lose that, but it's a big boost for Puka Nacua. And chances are, if you have Puka Nacua, you've probably also have a good chance that you've made it this far. So it's just a big bump for Nacua. And then it's really streaming it. Kyron Williams, I think, is in play, taking over the goal line stuff, like you said, with the Colby Parkinson thing. He might maintain his role, and we sort of saw that on Sunday as he had 2 touchdowns. Blake Corum, I think, is also in play as a flex guy. And then, like I said, I like Colby Parkinson here. Like Matthew Stafford's been great, but this is one where I try to move away from him a little bit if I can.
I agree. If you have another quarterback on your team that you could swap in and out with Stafford, I would not roll him out there on a Thursday versus Seattle's defense. The matchup is bad, and I get it. It's Stafford. He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time at picking apart defenses. But with no Devontae Adams, I think that hurts his touchdown upside of being like, I think it's kind of capped at like 2, to be honest. I don't think he can go 3, 4, 5 touchdowns like we've seen Stafford do this season.
Yeah.
I think Kyron's in line for a touchdown. I think even Blake Corum's probably in line for a touchdown because of how involved he's been. So I'm locking in Kyron, Corum, Puka. Colby Parkinson could be a flex tight end, and you could start Stafford if you have no other QB option. But if you have like Jackson Dart or Jared Goff or like another quarterback that you've just had handcuffed with Stafford that you've been rotating through, I would be cool playing another quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say the same with like Jacoby Brissett. I would lean Brissett.
100%, yeah,
over Stafford as well. Seattle. I feel the same about Sam Darnold as I do Matt Stafford, except there's no way I'm playing Sam Darnold.
I agree. I think it's worse. I wouldn't even. You cannot play Sam Darnold this week.
Jackson Smith-Njigba, obviously in your lineup, he's a superstar, and that might be like it's probably tough to move on, like to not play Ken Walker or Zach Charbonnet, but it is tough to move the ball on the Rams on the ground. So I'm not thrilled playing Walker and Charbonnet. Like, to me, they're both kind of capped at their ceiling is a low end RB2, and they're probably a mid flex play if you're going to play them. So if you have better options to flex out, I would. If I had to play one of them, I would probably lean Walker, but I don't really get any excitement out of either of them this week against the Rams.
I have Walker as an RB3, so a flex 1, and I have Charbonnet as a RB4, so a flex 2. I would start Walker over Charbonnet just based off of he has higher explosiveness. So if one of these guys takes a long run to the house, it's going to be Ken Walker. It's not going to be Charbonnet. To get a goal line touchdown on the Rams, sure, it's possible, but it's not very, very likely with how good their defense is. And even if he does get a goal line touchdown, what are we looking at? A goal line touchdown in 20, 30 yards. So you're only looking at maybe 8, 9 points for Charbonnet with the yards.
Yeah, he's not going to give you work in the passing game either.
No, exactly. So give me Ken Walker if I had to take one of these guys, but I'm really only looking at like Jackson Smith-Njigba as the only option from this game.
Yeah. Yeah, Seattle, great team. They're well balanced, but not a ton of fantasy upside sans JSN. On the offense here, and I assume you're not looking at Cooper Kupp. Big game here against the Rams.
No, not really. No. Unfortunately, yeah. I get it's a nice revenge game, but I can't lock that in.
Yeah, who you going with here on Thursday?
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier if Devontae Adams out there. I would lock in the Rams without even second guessing it. But Adams not being out there, man, it's gonna be rough. Because he's such a good goal line option, and he's so like teams have to really adjust for Adams. But I think at the end of the day, I'm still going to give it to the Rams. I've been the Rams guy this whole division, the whole process. So I'm interested more so where you go because you love Seattle. You do like the Rams a lot, though. But I'm going to go with the Rams in this one, which shouldn't shock a lot of people.
This honestly could be the NFC Championship game. These, I think, are the two best teams in football. And I think it could come down to the kicking game. And the Seattle Seahawks have one of the, if not a top 3 kicker in football in Jason Myers.
For sure.
He was the reason they beat the Colts. He went 6 for 6. Fantasy superstar. He was my MVP for my home league team. He was the only guy I could count on week in and week out.
He's been so good for the last 5-6 weeks, dude. He is putting up like running back to wide receiver 2 numbers, like 14, 15, 20 some points. Like he's putting up a lot of points. So it's a very interesting thing with what kickers. Like him and Brandon Aubrey are like legitimate cheat codes this year.
Yeah. I think it comes down to the kicking game, so I'm going to go with the team with the better kicker and the home team in this situation. I think the Seahawks win. It's going to be a great game. I'm very excited for this one tomorrow. Or Thursday, not tomorrow.
For sure. Thursday night game. I'm so excited for this game. Like it's going to hit, bro. Like I'm usually not this in for Thursday night, but Rams, Seahawks, prime time. Both like arguably the best teams in the NFC. Yeah. I'm gonna be locked in on Thursday, bro.
Yeah. Seahawks will be wearing their rivalry jerseys with their color changing helmets. That'll be cool to see how those look on screen. All right. We got Saturday, more divisional games. First one up, Philadelphia Eagles travel to Washington to take on the Commanders. Eagles 6.5-point road favorites over under 44.5. Then the Commanders announced Jaden Daniels. They're shutting him down for the rest of the year, which they should have done to begin with. They shouldn't have risked putting him out there in the first place. The Eagles had the big bounce back game against Las Vegas. Exactly what we expected. They went out, they shut them out. They absolutely whooped up on the Raiders. And now another situation. If the Eagles win, they clinch the division. That's Dallas. The only way they're getting to the playoffs is the Eagles lose out. Cowboys win out. So Eagles, just one win puts them in, and matchups there for them. Beat the Commanders. I'm going to play my Eagles. Saquon, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts. He had a great game this past week against Vegas. And then I even think Dallas Goedert's in play here. He had 2 touchdowns on Sunday. So I think this is a situation where you're just putting in all your Philadelphia Eagles.
I agree, and you got to be a little bit weary of Devonta Smith. 3 weeks in a row hasn't even broke double-digit points in that full-point PPR, so he's been worse in half-point PPR. He was only on the field for like 52% of snaps last week, which is easily a season low. He only seen 2 targets. Thankfully, he brought in both of them for the 50 yards, but like Smith, I'm not confident in, but like you can flex him. He's a flex option. He's a wide receiver 3 in my eyes. It's a really good matchup, so it's hard to bench Devonta Smith versus Washington in a game the Eagles know they have to win to get in the playoffs, and it's a lock. So I'm with you. I would start Barkley, Brown. Goddard for sure. Not for sure, but he's a really good flex option. Smith is the guy that I'm kind of on the fence with here.
Yeah.
But
and that's
Hurts?
how I felt. Yeah, I would play Hurts. Yeah.
Over Stafford?
Yeah.
Okay, I agree.
Smith, I was on the fence with him with the Raiders just because of, they're starting to pepper AJ Brown with everything to make him happy. So, but these are the games where you bench Devonta Smith and he has that big game. He always does that to you. And then when you put him in, he does 2 for 40, 2 for 50. So
2 for 50.
I think he's a high-end flex play this week. So I'm fine playing him. But if you have other, I would probably play Jaden Reed over him just based on upside. That game, I think it's going to be close and competitive. I think they're going to be passing a ton, higher over under. So I think there's more upside with Jaden Reed, but Devonta Smith I still think gives you a good floor.
I agree. I think he's going to be good for no less than 3 to 4 catches, maybe 50, 60 yards. But Devonta Smith is one of those guys that has the upside to go off for 8 catches, 100-some yards, and 2 touchdowns because of how explosive he is. And that can win you a game in fantasy. So, it's really hard to bench Devonta Smith in the flex option. If you have, 2 really good receivers and him in the flex, I would be really confident in that. So, I like him in the flex spot.
Devonta Smith or Cortland Sutton. Sutton is playing Jacksonville, who really good against the run. You got to pass on him. And Sutton had a big game this past week against the Packers.
Yeah, I'd probably go Sutton because he's the number 1 in his offense, to where Devonta Smith has A.J. Brown stealing everything under the sun from that guy.
Washington. Chris Rodriguez did not play on Sunday. That was a late scratch. He was questionable going into the game, but they announced it. So Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Bill, went out here, 90 yards in the touchdown against the Giants. I ended up picking him up in the home league and just threw him in. It worked. It was a good upside play. What a wild world. I was starting Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt in the playoffs. Now, Chris Rodriguez back this week. Do you think Bill's performance kind of eats into his carries and his workload, or do you think they go straight back to Chris Rodriguez?
I think it's going to be more so a 50-50 split, maybe 60-40 with Bill as the lead. But Chris Rodriguez practiced in full today on Tuesday, so I expect him to be out there on Saturday if he's already practicing in full on a Tuesday. So I honestly wouldn't play either of these guys if they're both playing. I agree. If Rodriguez doesn't play, I'm cool playing Bill as a flex or a double flex, not an RB1 or 2, but I'm cool having him on the squad. If Rodriguez is out there, though, gets too mucky, and I wouldn't play either of those guys versus Philadelphia in a timeshare, that's not a matchup I want to play with.
Yeah, no, I agree there. If Rodriguez is out, I would play Bill over Ken Walker or Charbonnet on Thursday.
Maybe
Just because
him and Ken
he's
Walker
the
are in
only
a
back
very
then.
similar
I think
spot.
McNichols is there.
Yeah, I get they're the only back, but I think him and Ken Walker would be in a very same spot where they're both really explosive running backs that just any given play they could take one in the house, where Charbonnet's really not going to do that. Chris Rodriguez really isn't going to do that. So I would probably pay Ken Walker over Bill. I'm not going to lie.
And that's fair. Bill's a huge risk play where Walker has a nice floor, which not something you usually say about him. Do you mess around with any of the Washington pass catchers, McLaren, Debo against the Eagles?
Yeah, no, I'm cool with Terry McLaurin. He played for 75% of snaps, so it's only been getting more. It's been 51, 62, 75, so I expect him to be out there close to 80% of snaps this week. I get he only had 4 targets, but he brought in 1 for a touchdown. He was 3 for 69 in a tutty. He scored in 2 of 3 games since he's been back. I'm cool with Terry McLaurin, more so than Debo Samuel.
Yeah, same boat. Like if I'm going to play a Red or Commanders receiver, it will be Terry McLaurin. McLaurin or Devontae, same game.
I think. Oh, you said McLaurin?
Yeah, McLaurin or Devontae Smith.
I was looking at Debo stats. I would go McLaurin over Devontae, and I honestly would have Devontae very close to Debo. I think Debo has a better floor than Devontae Smith, but Devontae Smith has a way higher ceiling.
Okay. Going Philly here. This is a no-brainer. Eagles clinched the East.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going with Philly, and I don't think it's going to be particularly close.
Yeah, 6.5 point, less than a touchdown. I get divisional matchup on the road, but I think the Eagles end up covering that. Our other Saturday game, divisional, Green Bay Packers travel to Chicago to take on the Bears. Packers 1.5 point road favorites. So I know you're gonna rant that Vegas is once again disrespecting the Chicago Bears. Over under set at 46.5. I am actually surprised the Bears aren't favored, especially with the Packers losing Micah Parsons. I kind of figured the home game would kind of lean their way, but Roman Dunze probably not going to be out there. And even if he is, I wouldn't play him because clearly we saw
I agree.
The risk of re-aggravating that injury is high, as it happened in warm-ups on Sunday. I think DJ Moore is a good wide receiver 3 flex play this week. I think Colston Loveland's a good play then if Dunze, and especially if Burden's not out there. I think Loveland is in play. Like I was fully expecting to come into this podcast and make Luther Burden my play of the week at wide receiver, but then getting the alert that he was a non-participant in practice today, I shied over to the other side with Jaden Reed. But if Burden is out there, are you messing around with him as a flex play this week?
Man, I would say double flex because he's been pretty decent the last couple weeks. He's seen a lot of targets since week 11 on. It's been 5 targets, 6, 6, 7. So going off of patterns, he should be in line for another 7-target game because it's been double back-to-back. He's gone 84, 64 the last 2 weeks. So, like, I would double flex him. I wouldn't single flex him, but DJ Moore is a wide receiver 3. I would probably play him over Devontae Smith and Debo Samuel. And Colston Loveland, I would play over like Dallas Goedert, Colby Parkinson, any of the main bad flex options. I'm playing Loveland. He's been really consistent since Roma Dunze's been out. I'm in for DJ Moore and Colston Loveland this week if
would
Rome
you play
and Burden are not on the field.
Would you play Colston Loveland over other rookie tight end Tyler Warren?
That's a setup question, bro. I would because of Phillip Rivers as his quarterback. I would play Loveland over Warren.
Yeah, Warren's got the good matchup. They're playing the Niners. I also would lean. That's the Monday night game. I would also lean Loveland, especially if Burden and Odunze end up missing. I think there's big play there. Bears running backs, Swift, Monangai. You win on both, or is it you push him more towards DeAndre Swift? Is he 2 touchdowns this past week? A big game for him. Monangai did find the end zone as well, I believe.
I'm more so in for Swift if I had to pick between one of them, but I'm cool playing both. I think Kyle Monangai has been so involved in this team. I don't think he scored this week. I think it was his worst week in a while, but I fully expect him to be involved because of the way their offense is without Rome Odunze. it's very run heavy with Swift and Mahungai, and then they rely on Colston Loveland and another
Mhm.
option, and it should be DJ Moore theoretically. So I like both running backs. I would probably play Ken Walker over Kyle Manungai. I would probably play. Who else have we talked about? Bill. I'd probably play Bill if Rodriguez isn't out there over Manungai. But if Rodriguez is out there and it mucks up Washington's backfield, I would play Manungai over Bill and
Both,
Rodriguez on the other
both of
side.
them. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Same boat. Would you play Manungai or Charbonnet?
Oh, it's a little harder. I think Manungai has a better chance of scoring a touchdown, so give me Manungai over Charbonnet.
I agree. Manungai as well. And I think Swift's a nice little play this week. Packers side. It's a little foggier over there. Wide receiver wise, we both think Jaden Reed's a good play. If Christian Watson's out there, I'm gonna play him. It's too much of a high reward type situation. He's the big play guy. If he's managing to get out there, I think you put him in your lineup and keep riding that. And then that's it for the receivers. And then Josh Jacobs obviously in play there. Would you lean Jordan Love over Caleb Williams in this game for fantasy?
Jordan Love over Caleb Williams. Yeah, probably. I'd probably go Jordan Love.
Okay. Yeah, I only have, I know Green Bay, good defense, but we just watched Bo Nix rip them up for 4 touchdowns. I thought maybe there was a chance you might lean Caleb there, but I also would play Jordan Love over Caleb. I think if the Bears want to win this game, it's going to be a lot of relying on Manungai and Swift, and I think Williams is going to be capped at maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns, whereas Jordan Love, I think, could be in play for 4, because that's just, he's all over the place. You never know what you're getting with him.
I agree.
Jordan Love or like Jared Goff against Pittsburgh.
Give me Jared Goff.
Okay. You feel the same about Watson? You're playing him if he's in?
Yeah, if Watson plays, I'm playing him. He's such a big threat target. Not a wide receiver 1 or 2 spot, but he is a definitely flex 1 spot. Yeah.
Does that change your view on Jaden Reed if Watson plays? Or are you still just in on Jaden Reed as a
Nope.
option this week?
I'm still in on Jaden Reed. I think he is the clear one, like athletic from an athletic standpoint.
Yeah.
He should be the most involved wide receiver. Hey, Christian Watson doesn't need a bunch of targets to be successful. Neither does Jaden Reed, but Jaden Reed should get more targets than Christian Watson, especially with Watson being banged up.
Yeah. And Josh Jacobs, keep rolling with him. Even banged up this past week, he looked great.
Yeah, for sure. If Jacobs is on the field, you don't even question it. He's so good. He's so talented.
Yeah. Who are you going with here? Packers, Bears, Saturday.
This is honestly one of the harder games for me. I'm not gonna lie. I've been very pro Bears. Something's telling me that like Green Bay is just gonna come in and get it done. They'll get the job they need to get done on the back of like rallying off of like, I get Parsons is hurt, but when a team loses a guy of that caliber, they can kind of just group up and band together as a unit and just go out there and perform really hard for a couple weeks. And I think that happens this week. I have the Bears checked off, but I'm going to switch and I'm going to go with the Packers.
I also think Green Bay wins this one. Sunday slate. Buffalo Bills travel to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Bills 10-point road favorites over under 42.5. Josh Allen, James Cook, lock him in. If you're playing a pass catcher, Dalton Kincaid, I think, is a fine play at tight end. And then Khalil Shakir's a low-end double flex play, but I like a bunch of other players more than him. And then Cleveland, Quinshon Judkins, it hasn't been great with Sanders in there, but you're still putting him in. And Harold Fannin is the only pass catcher for Cleveland for me still. Jerry Jeudy, he had a deep touchdown that he should have caught, and he ended up just handing it to the freaking.
It was insane. Just catch the ball, dude. It's
not helping Shadur in that situation, but yeah, I assume you're same boat in this game. This one's pretty easy.
This game is very self-explanatory. Father to be Josh Allen, you're starting him. James Cook, you're starting him. Shakir's a double flex kind of guy. Kincaid, I would try to pivot out of, but if you have to play him, it's going to be a struggle. I would easily play Harold Fannin on the other side over him.
Agree.
I would, and like guys like we've named before there, I would play Colston Loveland over him. I would play Dallas Goddard over him. That's probably about it for the tight ends we've named so far. But
Yeah.
it's been rough, man. And I was like very pro Shadur last week, where I was like, oh, you can stream him after the Tennessee game, and he finished quarterback like 31 out of 32, dude. So like it was a rough week, and the Jerry Jeudy touchdown, it should have been a touchdown, but Jerry Jeudy just can't catch a ball if his life depended on it. As a guy who gets paid to catch a football, so and like you said, dude, Judkins has been struggling too with Shadur. So like this team's just not moving the ball well with Shadur as the quarterback, and that's part of the problem. I'm really only playing Harold Fannin if I had to play any Brown, and that's probably about it.
Yeah, the 14 targets for Fannin is great. That's what he got this past week. PPR situation, Fannin is a good play because he'll spam his way to a low end tight end one finish, and he might sneak into the end zone. But yeah, and then Judkins, I think he's an RB2, low end RB2. Like I'd play him over Walker, Charbonnet. Those guys, just because it is his backfield, and there's touchdown upside because he's the only guy going to score. But yeah, the Browns really need like an alpha wide receiver. They got a bunch of wide receiver threes on their team, and then Buffalo's going to smoke them here. You think Myles Garrett breaks the sack record this week?
Yes, he needs a sack and a half, I believe, and I think it's going to get done. And I hope it does get done in like the 16 game season, so no one can bitch that, it was a longer season, he had extra games to play. I don't want to hear any of that. Go out there, get that record, young guy, and he is one of the best defensive ends I've ever had the privilege of watching play. So, no, honestly, if anyone should hold the sack record, it should be Myles Garrett at this point in like the NFL.
Yeah, him breaking in week 15 would be awesome because, or week 16 in the 15th game. I think he gets one sack. I think he does break it in week 16, so it would have been or week 17, so it would have been a regular, the old school schedule. He would still
got it. Yeah, he still would have get it. He's going to get it in the old school schedule. Yeah.
But Buffalo here, I think takes this one easy.
I agree. Buffalo had a really good comeback win versus New England.
What's that?
No, you're good. Buffalo's comeback win last week versus New England. It was really impressive to watch. They were down early. Yeah, and Josh Allen just did what he does best, and he just chipped away at that lead and just managed the game very, very well and played really clean football when he needed to at the most. And I truly think the Bills are winning the Super Bowl this year at this point.
Yeah, huge win for them. Like I was so like when they were down 17-0, 21-0.
Yeah,
I'm just
21-0.
But yeah, Josh Allen just propelled his way back into the MVP talks. I think it's him, Stafford. I think even Allen jumped Drake May. Right now. But before we move on to the rest of the 1 o'clocks and the rest of the Sunday, Monday slate, let's shout out our other affiliate over at Finley Hats. Finley Hats built for good times and long times. Their hats are, they'll replace or repair it absolutely free if your hat is damaged or destroyed. They got free shipping across the U.S. They do weekly hat drops every week. They got beanies, dad hats, snapbacks, all sorts of stuff. They got shirts, all that stuff. So check them out over at Finley. In the description, there's a link. You can click it, get yourself 15% off your first purchase over there. So join the force over at Finley Hats. There we go. I did the hat read this time. You called me out last week, said I didn't do it. I did, but
no
I'll remind you.
There's no proof.
Never
Even though it's recorded, it's recorded. No proof. None of that. Move on.
NFC South matchup. This is a big one. Tampa Bay Bucks. They travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Bucks 3-point road favorites. Over under set at 45.5. I'm way more excited to play Panthers in this game, especially Teteroa McMillan and Rico Dowdle, than I am like any of the Bucks receivers. Like Mike Evans was great. So do you pivot him right back into your lineup? And like
100%.
And Igbuka was the third option there. Like Chris Godwin outperformed him. So like, where do you stand with Emeka Igbuka this week?
Igbuka is the hard one to really judge. He still went double digits in full point PPR, but that was the first time he's gone double digits in full point PPR since week 10 when he had a huge 13 target game versus New England. It's been a rough stretch, but Mike Evans, I'm locking in Mike Evans as a wide receiver like 2. He should be in everyone's lineup. He is Mike Evans for a reason. Do not forget that, people.
See, he's doing his best to get that 1,000-yard streak with that 130-yard game.
It's not going to happen, unfortunately. No. But Godwin and Abuka are in the same boat as like a flex one option. I have them as a wide receiver 3, both of them same category.
Do you play Devonta Smith over those guys?
That's rough. I probably would. I would probably play Smith over both of them.
I agree, just because like Abuka and Godwin could end up just canceling each other's
Canceling
value
each
out,
other, yeah.
whereas
100%.
Devonta Smith isn't really like Goddard could cut into his work, but there's not another receiver that's going to eat into his workload. Bucky Irving, not the best week this past week, but still playing him. Yeah, you're still locking him in your lineup. Baker, I try to pivot out of Baker.
Pivot out.
But like I just think the health is still a concern for him. It has nothing to do with talent and the weapons around him. But yeah, I think I would play Caleb and Jordan Love on Saturday over Baker against Carolina. I would play Baker over Stafford, but I think that's close. I give Baker the edge there just because Carolina's defense isn't Seattle's defense.
That a statement I do agree with. Carolina's defense is not Seattle's defense, but I would play Stafford over Baker. Baker hasn't been a top 12 quarterback in 4 weeks. I don't think it changes here. I don't think he's a QB1 this week. He hasn't thrown more than 2 touchdowns in 5 consecutive weeks. He's thrown an interception in almost 5 consecutive weeks as well. He has a game in between there where he didn't, but I would roll with Stafford. Baker, I'm really trying to pivot out to. So Tampa Bay, I'm really only locking in Bucky and Mike Evans as like ones, and then Godwin and Abuka as flex options.
Yeah, I agree in that regard. Carolina, Tetero McMillan, I think he's a high-end wide receiver 2 this week. I think he'd creep into a wide receiver 1. And then Rico Dowdle, I think, just jump back into him. Like, it's been a little up and down here recently, but I'll play him over Chuba Hubbard. You can run on the Bucks. We've seen them struggle with running backs here, and Carolina's at its best when Rico Dowdle is really the focal point of the offense here. So I expect them to get him going early and making this a little bit easier for Bryce Young to move the ball through the air. So yeah, I'm in on Rico. I think he's an RB2 this week.
I am also in on Rico, and you said that you're more so in on Carolina, guys. So you're in more on Rico than Bucky, or no?
I think there is more upside for Rico because I think there's a better chance Carolina controls this game than Tampa does. So then I think Tampa has to pass more, and I think that kind of hurts Bucky's value because he's not overly involved in the passing game right now. And Carolina, for them to win, like I said, it's going to fall through Rico. So I think there's more upside that Rico controls the game than Bucky, but I think Bucky gives you a better floor because Rachaad White's not going to eat into his work like Chuba Hubbard will Rico Dowdle's.
Yeah, I agree. I would say Rico has obviously the higher upside because he has gone off for 200 rushing yards and 180 some rushing yards in back-to-back games, where Bucky obviously hasn't had that. I don't even think he has a 100-yard rushing game on the season, to be honest. And I get he missed time. He's been banged up, but I would lean Bucky over Rico, but I think both are like RB2, mid RB2 options. I think they're both really good options.
Yeah. I'm not messing around with Jalen Coker. He was involved, scored a touchdown, but I'm not going to chase that in the fantasy playoffs. He's a stash for Dynasty.
See, that's what's rough about Coker because like right before the bye, they played the Rams and he was a wide receiver 15. He had 6 targets, he brought in 4 for 74 and a touchdown. He scored 2 touchdowns and he scored back-to-back weeks. I would play Godwin and Abuka over him, but I think he's like a flex 2 option. I think he's a wide receiver 4.
Yeah. I would play him over like Khalil Shakir. I think Coker, just because I think this game could be a shootout more so than the Browns-Bills game.
Yeah, the Bills game.
I'm gonna take the Panthers. I think this is the games that they win. They win the games that they shouldn't win, and they lose the games that they should. So
understandable.
Yeah, I'll go Carolina here.
I'm gonna go with Tampa in this one, just based off of it's Tampa Bay. Mike Evans is back. The team is keeps getting healthier. I believe Tristan Wirfs is back now, so that's a huge upgrade for the offensive line to have him back out there.
I wish the Bucks were healthy, like at all for any sort of stretch. Like I feel like every time they start to get any sort of momentum, someone gets hurt.
The Bucks and the Chargers, I am holding in the exact same. The Chargers are still producing decent wins, but if the Chargers and the Bucks were both healthy, I truly believe that they would easily be in the Super Bowl like front running contention.
Yeah, but Bucks are 1-5 since the bye week, so
It's
been rough there. I think if they miss the playoffs, there's a chance Todd Bowles gets fired, just because like things don't seem great there. Like a coach doesn't lash out like that if there's not. Yeah. But I'll go Carolina here. Speaking of the Chargers, they're up next. Chargers, they travel to Dallas, take on the Cowboys. Cowboys are 1.5-point home favorites. Over under 49.5. Omari Hampton's my play of the week at running back. I think this is the week they unleash him. So I like him this week. Justin Herbert, I'm not there. I hold him in the same boat as like Baker. I'm trying to pivot out of them. Like just the health concern bothers me. And then like the Chargers pass catchers, like Quentin Johnson didn't play this past week, and you thought maybe that would be a Ladd McConkey situation, get him involved. No, Lambert Smith scores a touchdown. So how do you sort out the Chargers wide receiver room? Because the matchup here is juicy against the Cowboys, even though they did shut down Justin Jefferson. No thanks to 9.
Yeah, Herbert. I'm playing Baker over Herbert. Like Baker has been at least close to a QB1. Herbert hasn't been a QB1 since week 9. It's been QB 17, 31, 19, 17, 27. Like it's not in the realm for Herbert to be a top 12 quarterback at this point with the way the offense is rolling. I'm really only playing like Amario and Hampton with confidence in this game. Like you can't even play Ladd with confidence. You can't play Hughes. You can't play Keenan Allen, Orlando Gadsden with confidence. It's pretty much just Amario and Hampton because that's the way the Chargers have been going. Like it's sort of kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Ladd to me is like a flex guy. I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 or a wide receiver 2. He's the receiver I will play. Just because I think when the going gets tough, it's still Ladd McConkey is the best receiver in that room.
Yes, Ladd is easily the most talented wide receiver.
Quentin Johnston is the type of receiver that Dallas struggles with, the deep ball guys. So if Huge plays, maybe roll with him. But it's tough to trust Herbert and the passing game here in LA.
Yeah, it is rough. If I had to play one of them, it would be Ladd. I would say Ladd's a wide receiver 3, flex 1 option. Huge is a wide receiver 4 or 5, flex 2 option.
Dallas, other side of the ball. Dak Prescott is roll with him. He's been really good this year. CeeDee Lamb, keep playing him. George Pickens, tough matchup. George Pickens has been a little touch and go. Wasn't great against Minnesota. Wasn't great against Detroit. Is there concern about George Pickens here? Or are you worried about him here against the Chargers, who don't give up a ton of points through the air for fantasy?
Targets are still there, and I get last week was his season low in targets since week 1, to be honest. It was, or no, week 5 versus Jets, but still 6 targets, brought in 3 for 33. Last week was also a little bit rough for Detroit. Not a great matchup. I don't think he's like a low-end wide receiver 2, high-end flex 1 spot. I'm still cool playing George Pickens because he's so explosive, and the way this offense is rolling, I'm fine with it.
Pickens or Cortland Sutton?
Sutton.
Okay. These are questions for me. Money League, I have Sutton, Rashee Rice, George Pickens, and Devonta Smith, and I got to play 3 of them.
I think it comes down to playing Smith or Pickens. Who is the other one?
Rashee Rice.
Yeah, Rice is locked in. Rice is still locked in. I think he's so talented. It would come down to Smith versus Pickens. That's rough, man. I might lean Smith over Pickens. I'm not gonna lie. He might be a little bit more consistent.
Right now, Smith, Sutton, and Rice are in my lineup, so we're in the same boat there. Javonte Williams got a little banged up against the Vikings. Came back in though. You playing here against the Chargers? Good defense here in LA.
Yeah, that's a little bit rough. I don't know about that.
I mean, obviously, you're going to play him over Ken Walker.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm playing him over
DeAndre Swift.
I think if I had Swift, I'd play Swift because Javonte's still a little bit banged up. He's still questionable. I think Swift is just like a locked in RB2 this week, where Javonte could fall out of that realm. If Javonte plays, I'm playing him, but I'm not doing it with any bit of confidence.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're not going to pull him out of your lineup, as he's likely been a big part in you getting as far as you have. Jake Ferguson, he's really the last guy. It's yeah, I think you could put him on your bench. Like I'd Kyle Pitts is a better play. I'd rather play Colston Loveland than Jake Ferguson, especially if the receivers are banged up there in Chicago.
Him or Dallas Goedert?
I would play Goddard.
I agree. Way higher upside. Jake Ferguson's not in line for a 2-touchdown game anymore, where Dallas Goedert can easily go out there and get that.
Yeah. I'm going Chargers here. I think they officially killed the Cowboys season.
I am also going with LA.
Here we go. Podcast battle. The Minnesota Vikings travel to New York to take on the Giants. The Vikings are 3-point road favorites. The over-under, 43.5. This will be fun. We get to see 9. JJ McCarthy, who looked pretty good against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He did miss some throws. He underthrew Jordan Addison. That should have been a 60-yard touchdown, but he shorted him, and Addison had to stop. But he made some plays. His little fake to Jordan Mason on the red zone, and JJ McCarthy just got the gritty on into the end zone. It was a really good play. So he's looking better, which is great, but it's not great for Justin Jefferson, who 3 catches, 2 catches against the Cowboys.
Absolutely disgusting for Justin Jefferson, bro.
Like should have had a touchdown, but formation call took that away. He was targeting him like that, and that's what I take solace in, is like that. JJ McCarthy, they're trying to force the ball to Justin Jefferson. It's just not working. I think a lot of that is Jefferson didn't practice early in camp. He missed a ton of camp time, so he didn't get any rapport with JJ, and then JJ missed time during the season, so he doesn't get any actual live reps with Jefferson. So it has been tough. If you've got this far with Justin Jefferson, kudos to you. I have him in Dynasty, and I'm in the semis. I had to buy, though. So it's quite like Justin Jefferson or Devonta Smith. These are like actual decisions people are probably making.
I wasn't even looking at Devontae Smith. I'm looking at the other side of the field, and I'm looking at Wan'Dale Robinson. And I'm like, do I play Wan'Dale Robinson, who is a PPR freak? He's so good in PPR, over Justin Jefferson. I probably would this week. I'm not going to lie to you. And that sounds insane, and I get it. And Justin Jefferson's probably going to go off for fucking 12 catches, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns versus the Giants. But at the end of the day, I think Wan'Dale is a way consistent option at this point in the season, where he has gone double digits nearly every week for the last 5 or 6 weeks, minus the Green Bay game. He has been so good. And he's playing like 99% of the snaps, 100% of the snaps. Wan'Dale is out there all the time, and he's consistently over double-digit targets. I think Wan'Dale is a safer option than Justin Jefferson this week.
Jordan Addison might be a better play than Jefferson. Addison is heavily target. He's got a rapport with McCarthy. They've worked out really well together. I would go Jefferson over Wan'Dale just because the Vikings have been really good at stopping receivers. So I think it does kind of cap Robinson there. But I mean, not that Jefferson's doing anything. I actually think TJ Hawkinson is in play. Just JJ McCarthy has been targeting this guy, and now we're again, and Hawkinson's looking better the past couple weeks. So, like I would play TJ Hawkinson over Jake Ferguson.
I would also play Hawkinson over Ferguson for sure.
But Hawkinson, he's back in tall. But Giants side of the ball,
I would play Theo Johnson on the other side over Jake Ferguson as well.
I agree.
I think he's got a better floor and a higher ceiling.
Yeah. Jake Ferguson essentially, like, you might be able to cut him at this point. There's no point really carrying 2 tight ends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll still play Jefferson over Wan'Dale. I would play Addison over Wan'Dale. But I think Wan'Dale gives you. I would also play Wan'Dale as a second flex. That's where I hold him. Vikings defense pretty good. Jackson Dart, tough to move on from him because of the rushing upside. So I'll put him in. And Tyrone Tracy, Devin Singletary. Do you mess with them? really tough to move the ball in the Vikings through the
I would-
ground.
You can flex Tracy. He had 2 touchdowns last week versus Washington. He looked
great.
good. Yeah, he looked really good. He was heavily involved. I would try to find my way out of Singletary if I could. He wasn't really involved. He was only on the field for 24% of snaps. Only saw 5 carries. He's not even like a double flex option this week versus Minnesota.
Tyrone Tracy or Javonte Williams?
Whew.
I'd lean Tracy.
I would probably lean Javonte if he gets like 2 full practices Thursday and Friday. I would lean Javonte, but if he's limited all week and he's playing on no full practices, I would lean Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah. Theo Johnson's probably my favorite pass catcher for the Giants. I actually like him a little bit more. The Wandale Vikings do struggle against the tight ends. So I think Johnson's in play. I think I would play Theo over TJ. These are just me versus me.
This is me. Yeah, you versus you. I would play Theo Johnson over TJ Hawkinson for sure. I agree.
The Vikings running backs, you messing around with Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason? Because it's been gross for both of them. I'm trying to move out of either of them. I don't think you can play either of them. The matchup's good, but if I had to play one, it's going to be Aaron Jones. He's still on the field the majority of the time, and he has pass work involvement.
I agree. I think Aaron Jones is like a RB3 flex 1 option. Jordan Mason, you can't play. You cannot play Jordan Mason at this point in the playoffs. Aaron Jones, he's got a little bit higher ceiling. If you would have taken the stats from last week and thrown on a touchdown into that game, it would have been like 15, 16 full-point PPR. It would have been all right. We wouldn't have been talking about it like this. So just hope he gets into the end zone and you just fall into like 10 to 15 points.
But there's the problem. When they get close to the red zone,
It's
Aaron
Jordan
Jones
Mason.
isn't on the field, and they just throw Jordan Mason out there.
For sure.
Would you play J.J. McCarthy?
No.
No, me either.
I would play Dart over McCarthy.
Yeah, agree. This is really the Vikings are just seeing McCarthy's growth, and that's where I'm going. I am going to pick the Vikings here, though.
Yeah, and I'm also picking Minnesota. We messed up last week, picked the Giants over Washington, and whenever we pick the Giants, they don't win. So I'm picking Minnesota. But to be honest, I don't want the Giants to win. So I want the better draft pick. I just want Jackson Dart to look good. That's all I care about.
You guys play the Raiders next week. That's
I know,
going
I'm terrified.
The battle for the number 1 pick.
We're going to win, and I'm going to cry, and I'm going to be miserable because the Giants somehow played themselves out of the first pick, what they do every single year for the last 4 years.
I mean, honestly, if you guys get the first pick, you're probably trading, but that's good. You get extra pieces.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Not to be that guy. The Giants can easily have such a quick turnaround with Jackson Dart, Cam Scadaboo. If we bring in a legitimate head coach that knows exactly what he's doing, and we can get a haul of picks for the first pick, the Giants could be a legitimate team in 2 to 3 years very, very easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. Ooh, the Kansas City Chiefs travel to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Gardner Minshew versus Cam Ward. Chiefs are favored 3.5 on the road. Over under set at 37.5. Does Gardner Minshew being out there worry you for Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce?
To a certain extent, but I think he's going to have to hyper target those 2 guys to the point that they find themselves fantasy relevance. Like Rice and Kelce, I'm still really confident in, but then the run game, I'm not playing Hunt or Pacheco. I'm trying to steer away from those guys. Xavier Worthy he's the one that's going to take a big hit, I think. I don't think Minshew's going to be able to spread the ball to Rice, Worthy, Travis Kelce, Hollywood Brown. I don't think that happens, so I think he's just going to hyper target Rice and Kelce, and that's going to be the key to success here for Kansas City.
Yeah, we know Gardner Minshew can sling it. That's
the ball.
His shtick.
Yeah.
So it doesn't worry. Like I think Kelce and Rice are fine. I think they're safe. I
agree.
Playing them. Worthy, I think's out of contention. I don't even think he's worth rostering with Minshew there. Tennessee's run game not great, but Kareem Hunt, like if you're going to play one of them, I would play Hunt over Pacheco, but I'm not. I would play Tony Pollard on the other side, who's back-to-back 100-yard games here, over either Chiefs running back.
Yeah, for sure. I would easily play Tony Pollard over any Chiefs running back. And to be honest, I'd probably play Tajay Spears over either of them. I'm not going to lie. He's outscored Hunt and Pacheco as well the last couple weeks. like Kareem Hunt hasn't gone double digits in 3 weeks, and it's just been a struggle. Pacheco outcarried him last week, but only had 21 yards on the ground. The run Kansas City just in a whole has just been abysmal this year. So give me Rice, give me Kelsey. That's pretty much it.
Do you mess with any other Titan besides Tony Pollard?
I don't really think so. I'm not trying to do any of the tight ends. Gunnar Helm is coming off a pretty big week, 4 for 49 in the touchdown.
I had to start him in the drafted up league.
Works out.
Yeah,
it all works out, dude. Tony Pollard's really the only Titan I'm starting with confidence off the back-to-back 100-yard games and 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Gunnar Helm is absolutely a guy I'm targeting in Dynasty. I think he's going to be this team's tight end 1 next year. And I think he's a good piece that you can get probably really cheap. I actually acquired him in a league the other day. Actually, that was a sweetener. I was like, "Yeah, give me Gunnar Helm. We got a deal." I think the Chiefs win this game, but
I don't think it's gonna be close. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Gardner Minshew's at the end of the day, he's a backup quarterback in the NFL. He's going to go in there. He's gonna sling the rock. It's not gonna be pretty at all for Kansas City. But they're playing the Tennessee Titans, dude. They're going to get the dub.
Yeah, I agree. Oh boy. The New York Jets travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Saints 4.5 point home favorites. Over under is set at 40.5. Brady Cook looked tolerable. He looked way better than I thought he was going to against the Jaguars this past week, and I assume he is gonna be the quarterback this week. We shall see. I think he will be.
Man.
But
so many turnovers, bro.
He did, but the Jets passing, like Adonai Mitchell had a good game, so he was at least targeting players. He didn't look incompetent. Like I expected him to have no touchdowns and throw like 5 interceptions. I expected a Max Brosmer game out of Brady Cook.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. AD Mitchell looked. He's honestly been just really involved since getting traded to the Jets, and I'm not saying you can play him with any bit of confidence, but if you have him and you need a guy that could possibly go out there and get a decent game, like last week, he went 6 for 58 and a touchdown with a quarterback like Brady Cook. So AD Mitchell is a guy that you could like double flex or even single flex if you really needed him to, and you just need a guy in your lineup to go out and possibly get points. AD Mitchell is a good option.
Yeah. You messing around with Breece Hall?
No, you can if it's Brady Cook, bro. Like he was out. He played, but he wasn't any bit of relevant. So
I agree.
It's honestly like AD Mitchell in the flex. You could flex Breece Hall in like a double flex spot for sure. He's like an RB3. Low end RB3 this week. So like if you had to flex him, you would be all right, maybe, but it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be miserable. Hope to God he gets 3 to 4 catches. He takes one to the house because he's Breece Hall.
A touchdown. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So like you could double flex him, but
Saints side, fun. Tyler Shuck, he's playing good football. Yep. It's going to be a crazy take. I think the Saints win out. They got the Jets, they got the Falcons, they got the Titans. I think Tyler Shuck's ended the year on a 5-game win streak and has easily played the Saints out of drafting a quarterback because at that point they're not going to be able to because they'll have to trade up. So I think he's easily this team's quarterback next year. I'm going to play Chris Olave. And Devin Neal, have you heard anything on him? He looked great and then got hurt after like the second drive.
He's not going to, as far as I know, he's not playing. Their backfield is Audric Estime and Evan Hall, I believe.
I'm not messing around with the backfield then, but give me Chris Olave this week.
Hear me out, and I get it's so dirty and nasty, but if you need a guy and you're just taking the upside, I would lean Audric Estime.
Yeah.
But you could put one of these guys in and just hope for the moon because they're playing the Jets. They're like the 31st or 32nd run defensive football. It is a prime opportunity for either Estime or Evan Hall. Evan Hall's a really good receiving back coming out of college 2 years ago. I liked him a lot. Played for the Colts last year. He's JT's backup, and now he's with New Orleans. Estime, another Notre Dame back that was
big body.
A lot of guys liked Estime coming out a couple years ago. He was with Denver. I think they would lean Estime to get the bulk of the work because of how big and bruiser back he is.
And then I would expect Hall to be involved in the passing game.
Yeah, where Evan Hall is the Alvin Kamara role. Like, he's going to be just kind of catches. But it's weird. The way they used these guys last week, it was the opposite. Hall was the back, and then
Yeah.
Estime was the receiving back. It was so weird. I don't understand what they were doing.
Hey, not going to question Kellen Moore. He's got the Saints playing good football right now.
That's true. They're playing clean ball.
Pivoting from Baker Mayfield, would you go to Tyler Shuck against the Jets over Baker?
Oh my god, that seems like a setup. But yeah, I would. I would play Tyler Shuck over Baker Mayfield. He has 2 top 12 quarterback finishes in the last 3 weeks, and he's got a really good matchup versus the Jets this week. I would play Shuck over Baker Mayfield this week.
I agree, and he's running. But yeah, I think Chris Olave is a great play, and I'm not chasing Vele. Do you chase Juwan Johnson? Like him or Jake Ferguson?
I would probably go Juwan. He's been a little bit more consistent. Where in like full point PPR, he's gone 19 by week 10, 8, 7, 7, to where Jake Ferguson's getting sometimes 3 points, 4 points. I would go Juwan over Ferguson.
I agree with Juwan. Like I said, I think Saints win out, so I'm going the Saints here versus the Jets.
Yeah, I'm also picking the Saints. They're playing decent ball.
Yeah. Cincinnati travels to Miami, take on the Dolphins. Bengals 2.5-point road favorites, over under 50.5. You pick Chase Brown, play of the week. Keep rolling with it. Does Joe Burrow's performance on Sunday scare you away from playing him this week if you manage to get through with him and his very lackluster? He took the whole blame for the loss. He was like, this game was all on me.
I would. Burrow thing's crazy. Like, you can play him. I get it. But just like his demeanor, you almost don't want to play him. He's down. It seems like he doesn't want to be there. Cincinnati Bengals are not doing this guy any justice. Get this guy on offense. Get him a defense. He is not the reason they have missed the playoffs now, going on 3 seasons, counting this year, because they're not going to make the playoffs. It's just rough to watch, dude. Like, I do not want to watch these superstar quarterbacks just in shitty organizations. It is bad for football. It's bad for ratings. It's bad for the quarterbacks themselves. If I'm Joe Burrow and they don't do anything in the offseason, next year is my last year in Cincinnati. I would be damned if I'm playing there after next year.
The Vikings. We'll give you R9 for your 9. That's what I'd be calling.
Any team that needs a quarterback, literally 99% of the NFL could use Joe Burrow. Everyone should be calling this offseason just a call.
Yeah.
They're all obviously Cincinnati's going to say no. But if they don't do anything this offseason and then maybe even next, Joe Burrow is going to hold out and he's not going to be there. I'm so confident in that. He is not going to be a Cincinnati Bengal if they don't fix the problem.
Yeah. This also could go the way of Andrew Luck, and Joe Burrow just calls it.
Oh, 100%. I don't want to bring up something old that happened, but there was a reason Carson Palmer held out and demanded a trade from Cincinnati all those years ago when he was in the prime of his career, and they had to trade him to the Raiders because they just couldn't fathom paying fix your organization. It obviously has been a problem since I've been 10 years old. Get this guy help. I'm tired of watching superstar players in Cincinnati burn out and fizzle because of their dumbass owner who doesn't understand the process of fixing a football team. This is not rocket science, bro.
They
common
struggle
sense.
building through the draft because they don't want to pay a scouting department. It's like,
exactly.
You could pay me a little bit more than what I'm currently making at my shoot job. I'll fucking scout for you.
Yeah, I'll move to bum ass Cincinnati if you need me to.
I'll
to
live in
become one of
Ohio.
your scouts. It's insane. I don't understand the organization at all.
I'll play my Bengals this week. Jamar, Joe, Chase, they're all in play. I don't expect T. Higgins out there, and they shouldn't be. I know there was the chance he played this past week. If he's out there, do you play him?
If he's out there, I'm playing him just because he's T. Higgins on a Bengal squad, but I hope to God he's not out there. There's no reason. Honestly, if I'm Joe Burrow, I'm not even going to play. We can't make the playoffs. Why would I risk myself getting hurt again? Because I'm literally just coming back off the IR, and you guys haven't built an offensive line to protect me. I'm not playing. I don't need to be on this field.
Miami,
but I get Joe Burrow as an honest to God warrior, so he's going to be out there and he wants to play ball. But if I was him, I'd be like, yo, fuck this. Go fix the organization.
I do think there's a legitimate chance the Bengals do end up shutting down their guys, and that includes Chase. I think we might just see like it could just be Chase Brown's offense for the rest of the year. Miami side, Achane obviously in play. Bengals can't stop the run. I like Darren Waller. I still think he chased the tight end against the Bengals. Jalen Waddle, it's not been great, and the Bengals are tolerable versus wide receivers because they give it up everywhere else. He had a bad game against Pittsburgh.
Yo.
He was your play of the week. That hurt you there. Do you chase Jalen Waddle here against the Bengals?
You can. He's a fucking. That guy's so upsetting. Just because like home weed situation as well. Like Jalen Waddle absolutely destroyed me this week, and it breaks my heart. He's a wide receiver 3, flex 1 option. Like you could play him if you need because he's still Jalen Waddle. He's still a very talented wide receiver, and it's honestly not his fault. Like Tua was a abysmal quarterback on Monday night. He just, oh my God, he just was not getting the job done.
Yeah. Waddle or Jordan Addison against the Giants?
Give me Waddle because he's the number 1, but it's a lot closer than people think it is.
I think I would lean Addison. I'm gonna pick the Bengals.
I'm picking the Dolphins.
Here we go. Good football game. Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Denver to take on the Broncos this game. Big football. Jaguars are underdogs on the road. Broncos favored 3 points at home. Over under set at 45.5. Bo Nix against Green Bay's great defense. Just put up 4 touchdowns. Had maybe the best game of his career. Cortland Sutton was great. So now the Jaguars, they're really good at stopping the run. So I think Bo Nix is in play here. I think Cortland Sutton's a great play this week as well. And I'm not going to chase any of the other Denver options pass catching wise. And then RJ Harvey, I'll play him. I think he's a RB2 this week against Jacksonville.
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it on the head. Troy Franklin, I would say he's like a flex 2 spot. He's 6 targets, 85 and a touchdown.
He's the one I chase if I chase another Broncos player.
Yeah, if I had to chase
Troy
another
Franklin
guy
over Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, way higher ceiling. And in fantasy playoffs, you need those guys that can go out there and get you the dub. And I get it can burn you tremendously on the back end, but I would play Troy Franklin over a guy that's a safe play. He's got a much higher ceiling.
Yeah. Jacksonville side, tough matchup. Trevor Lawrence, this offense has been playing great football. Travis Etienne. Trevor Lawrence, like let's talk about it. He had 6 touchdowns on Sunday.
Yeah, he looked so good, dude.
Like Liam Cohen has unlocked this after like we thought these two were gonna end up hating each other at one point because Lawrence was just like giving him attitude and Liam Cohen was having none of it. They're on the same page and this offense as a whole is clicking. Do you trust him against the Broncos defense?
It's a little bit of a harder matchup, but I would play him over like Baker, Justin Herbert, guys like that for sure. He scored a touchdown in 6 straight games, which is really impressive. He's only had 2 games on the whole season where he hasn't scored a passing touchdown. But in one of those games, he had 2 rushing touchdowns, so it really made up for it. He's just been playing really good ball, especially as of late. Was it 12, 13 touchdowns with only 2 interceptions in that stretch. He's got a couple rushing touchdowns as well. He's been a top 12 quarterback 4 of the last 5 weeks. I'm in on Trevor Lawrence going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, like we keep talking about like, oh, these are games Jacksonville loses. Like we're waiting for that classic Jacksonville loss, and they're not happening. Brian Thomas Jr. got into the end zone this past week. Really tough to pass on Denver. I think he's a flex guy. And same with Jacoby Myers, who's really involved as well. Like I swear every time I saw Lawrence drop back, he was like targeting Jacoby Myers, but he didn't get into the end zone. But I think both guys are flex plays this week, and I think you keep rolling with ETN. Josh Jacobs had a really good game against Denver. I know Denver doesn't really give up a ton of points to running backs, but ETN, this is his backfield. 3 touchdowns this past week. I'm cool with him as a high-end RB2, even with the matchup being difficult.
Yeah, and I don't think we even brought up that Bashan Tootin got finger surgery, so he's out. He's not going to be playing. So it's Travis Etienne's backfield. There's no other running back on the backfield.
Yeah, LaQuinn Allen's not eating into that work.
No, for sure. So like you said, it is a harder matchup, but with no backup, ETN is in line to have another really big week. It's not going to be as big because of the matchup versus Denver, but I fully expect probably close to 60, 70 yards, maybe a touchdown, and maybe being involved in the receiving game as well. But I'm really cool with Lawrence. I'm cool with ETN. I like Myers over BTJ, but I can think you could flex both of those guys.
Lawrence or Bo Nix, same game.
Oh my goodness!
I'll go Bo.
Give me Bo Nix because he also had a mondo week last week where he had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, this game's gonna be fun. Brenton Strange, do you chase him? It's been 2 bad games in a row here for Brenton Strange.
It's been rough the last 2 weeks, but it is like a really, really good matchup. I think you can play him if need be. I'd probably play him over Jake Ferguson.
I would play him over Ferguson. I wouldn't play him over Hawkinson or Theo Johnson.
I agree. I 100% agree.
I'm going with the Broncos. Like, we keep waiting for them to falter, and it's not happening. They just keep falling into these wins, and I think that happens here. I'm going to go against my favorite AFC team in Jacksonville, but I'm going with Denver.
I agree. I'm going with Denver.
Atlanta, the Falcons travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Gross. Falcons 2.5-point road favorites, over under set at 47.5. Arizona's easy. Trey McBride, superstar. Like, Jacoby Brissett has got this guy scoring touchdowns, and it's been incredible. He's been the best tight end all year. McBride, Brissett, Michael Wilson, lock him in your lineup. If Marvin Harrison plays, do you play him?
That's rough. Man, I hope he doesn't play just for the sake of Michael Wilson, dude. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, if Marv plays, it just mucks everything up to where it's so simple without Marv. Like, it's you start Brissett, you start Michael Wilson, you start Trey McBride. You don't even think about it. You can even kick in Michael Carter or DeMarcado, whichever back you think it is. I think Michael Carter gets the bulk of the carries, but I think Amari DeMarcado is going to be the receiving back. I think they're both good options. Just take your bet on one of them and roll with them because it could be either guy. I just don't want Marv to come back this week because it's just going to muck everything up. But if he comes back, Michael Wilson then becomes like a flex 1 option. Marv is also like a flex 1 option. I'm not guaranteed to start either of those guys, but even if Marv would come back, I would play Michael Wilson over Marv.
Yeah. There's no news on Marv. He was not. Yeah, there's no news here. So I wouldn't play him if he plays, and it does like you said, caps Michael Wilson's upside. But if Marv isn't out there, Michael Wilson is a potential wide receiver 1. He becomes really great. Atlanta side, Kyle Pitts. He had the greatest tight end game in fantasy football history last week. I think you keep rolling with him. He is the alpha of this passing attack with no Drake London, and then obviously you keep rolling with Bijan, and that's it from Atlanta.
I 100% agree. Bijan and Kyle Pitts are the only guys I'm locking in. Atlanta is very hopeful that Drake London makes a return this week, and I do not understand that decision at all. I don't know why this guy would be out here in a game where you can't make the playoffs, coming off of injury, a guy that's been banged up before. Do not have him on the field for nothing. There's no reason to have Drake London out there. But if Drake London's out there, I'm playing him over Marv. I'm playing him over Michael Wilson. He's like a wide receiver too if he plays because he's coming off of injury. He's pretty close to wide receiver 1. I'm not even going to lie to you. Drake London is that kind of guy. He's going to be hyper-targeted in his offense. And if he comes back, it just messes up Kyle Pitts. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, Kyle Pitts
it would
then moves to like a low end
of Pitts. I agree.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts become like a low end tight end 1 flex option tight end. Like, he's not a guaranteed starter if Drake London's out there.
Yeah, he kind of falls in that range of all the other guys we've been naming. Colby Parkinson, TJ Hawkinson, Theo Johnson, all those guys. He kind of falls. He's the peak of that group.
He's the best. Exactly. He's the best of all those. And to have the best tight end performance in fantasy football history, I hope this, because he's a free agent at the end of this year, I'm pretty sure. I hope that God, he gets the fuck out of Atlanta, dude. He does not need to be there. Go to a team that's going to utilize this kid, and he's still so young, dude. There's a reason Kyle Pitts was drafted so early in the draft, and it was last week. Like, Kyle Pitts is so far and above athletically, like gifted wise. He's just so much better than guys that try to cover him. He could be so good, dude. Like, Kyle Pitts, he still has it, dude. I'm still in.
I am very excited to see where he ultimately ends up going. Like, it'll be interesting to see where he lands. Like, there's a ton. Like, I would love him in Jacksonville with Liam Cohen. Like that'd be fun. Brian Thomas Jr., him, ETN, Trevor Lawrence, like just keep bolstering that offense. It'll be interesting. I think Atlanta takes this one though. Arizona's good for fantasy, but they just don't win football games.
I think Atlanta is one of the worst teams in football. Give me Arizona.
Pittsburgh Steelers, they travel to Detroit. They take on the Lions. Lions 7-point home favorites, over unders at 51.5. Pittsburgh targets DK Metcalf 12 times, and then they follow that up with 3. So that frustration continues.
One of them was a touchdown, baby.
It was a hell of a play, too. DK's in. He's a low-end wide receiver, 2. He does have the upside to be a wide receiver 1. They're going to have to pass to beat Detroit. You can't really run on the Lions. So I'll play DK Metcalf, and then I will like Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. They're tough plays this week.
I'm playing Ken Gainwell over Jalen Warren.
I agree.
Week. That's how I would play Gainwell over Warren. I'm not confident in either of them. I'm not even particularly confident in DK, but DK Metcalf would be the most confidence I have in any Pittsburgh Steeler this week.
Yeah. And Detroit, I love Jared Goff this week. I think he's a good play. I think you play all your Lions. Goff, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, and then Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know if you've seen the pattern, but he's 3 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns. He's in line for 3 touchdowns this week if you go by that. So just keep rolling with Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm probably not playing Montgomery this week. I think he's the odd man out here.
Yeah, I agree to that. Like I'm confidently starting Goff, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, JMO, and that's about it. Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra both had mondo weeks last week, dude. Like, I get JMO had that goose versus the Giants, but he has been so good since the bye, bro. Like, Jameson Williams is that guy, and I'm so glad that he's also turned it on, dude, and I absolutely adore him.
Yeah, that's your dude.
That's my baby, bro.
I would play Kenny Gainwell over David Montgomery just solely on the fact that Kenny Gainwell's getting like 6-7 catches a game.
I think I would
6-7.
I think I would play Jalen Warren as well. I'd play Warren and Gainwell over David Montgomery.
I think the Lions win this game, though. I don't think it's going to even be close.
I agree.
I think they win by more than 7. I think they cover. Las Vegas, the Raiders, they travel to Houston, take on the Texans.
I didn't know we're allowed to show live murders on TV. This game is going to be an absolute bloodfest, bro. Houston is going to mollywop Vegas, bro. Like Philly beat them 31-0. Houston has a better defense than Philly, and I love Philly's defense. Is there a chance Vegas scores negative points? Like I don't even know what's going to happen in this game, bro.
So the Texans are favored by 14.5.
Up it.
The over-under's at 38.
Checks out.
Houston, Nico Collins in play. If Woody Marks is out there, you play him. He got hurt early on in the game.
I don't expect Woody Marks to be out there. I don't expect Nick Chubb to be out there. So I think it's going to be Jawar Jordan. He's the guy. He had 15 for 101 yards last week, 2 receptions for 17. Versus Vegas's defense, he's the guy to get on waivers. And I know we're recording on a Tuesday, so waivers haven't yet cleared. But, I don't even know this guy's name. Jawar Jordan, running back, Houston. I expect him to get the full workload if Woody Marks is not out there. And this matchup versus Vegas, they're going to be up 21-0 to start the game. The game's going to start 21-0 right off the rip. Houston doesn't even have to do anything all game. They're going to run the ball down Vegas's throat. And I think it's going to be with this guy if I had to put my money on someone that's not Woody Marks, because I don't think he's going to be out there.
Would you play CJ Stroud over Baker?
My fear is that Houston just gets up so quick that they don't need the pass at all after halftime.
Yeah. That's absolutely reasonable. I think there's a higher upside for CJ Stroud. I think this is a game he could just put up 3 touchdowns right off the rip, like you said.
I agree. I think I would play. Jeez, that's hard. I think I would play Baker over Stroud.
I agree. Just on the fear that Houston just gets up so much, and CJ Stroud's only out there for 2.5 quarters. Yeah, but Nico Collins, there's probably a good bet that he scores a 50-yard touchdown this week. Do you mess around with Jaden Higgins? This was he took a real big step back this past week in terms of like his workload. Only had like 3 points in full PPR.
Yeah, I wouldn't this week. I'm really only messing with. I'm cool flexing Jawar Jordan if Woody Marks and Chubb are both ruled out. I think he's going to be in line for a big week. But Nico Collins is really the only Texan I'm confidently playing because he is so good. I would play Dalton Schultz over Jake Ferguson if that's the trend we're going with.
We never want to tell you to play Dalton Schultz. That's what we try not to do, but you can. Vegas, is it Brock Bowers and no one else? Like, can you bench Genty? You can. You can bench Genty,
but do you have someone that's actually worth playing? And that's what it comes down to, because I think Genty is an RB3 this week. So that means there are theoretically 24 to 30 running backs that I think are better than Genty this week. If you have 2 or 3 of those guys, I'm not playing Genty. Look what he did versus Philly. Look what he did versus Denver. Look what he did versus the Chargers. None of those are great games. And now he's playing Houston, who any given Sunday is the best defense on planet Earth. I'm not playing that matchup. I'm out.
I agree. I'll put Genty on my bench, and I will be okay if he gets 15 points on my bench instead of 3 points in my lineup. I don't think. I'll play Brock Bowers, and that's it for Vegas.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not going to bench Brock Bowers in a matchup because he's still getting 8 targets, 9 targets, 12 targets, 13 targets after he came back from the bye. Brock Bowers is in my lineup regardless of any given Sunday and how bad the Raiders are. I can't wait for Pete Carroll to get fucking fired, bro.
So we're both picking Houston.
Oh yeah, that's not even the question.
Sunday Night Football, New England travels to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Ravens are favored. 3 points at home, over under set at 48.5. We thought Buffalo was going to whoop New England. They didn't, but they came back and won. And we said losing to the Bills was like, we think the Patriots need to lose a game. That'll be good for them. And now we get to see how they bounce back, and I think they do. I think Drake May, you keep rolling with him. TreVeyon Henderson, most touchdowns over 50 yards by a rookie since Saquon Barkley. He's got 4 already. He looked great against Buffalo. He had 2 big runs. Keep rolling with him. I think that's it for New England. Like I'm not chasing the receiving game. Like it's tough. Like Booty's involved, but like Drake May's just spreading the ball too much around for me to like confidently put one of these pass catchers in my lineup in must-win games now going forward.
I agree. I really do agree. And it is honestly a shame that TreVeyon Henderson was completely misused week 1 through 7. I think he would easily be the rookie of the year if he would play the full season the way he's been playing now.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it would be close, to be honest. And that I don't want to say it falls on Mike Vrabel because Mike Vrabel is going to win coach of the year this year. He's honestly the front runner in my eyes. I don't think anyone really else deserves it. What he's done for New England is incredible. But TreVeyon Henderson legitimately has a chance. He's got Baltimore, the Jets, and then Miami to end the year. Those 3 games, if he keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to be in rookie of the year contention, and he's only played pretty much since week 8 on because he was not used week 1 through 7.
Yeah. You brought up Vrabel. He is the betting odds favorite for coach of the year, followed by Mike McDonald and Liam Cohen.
Yeah, I would have those 2 guys behind him for sure. And then maybe even I'm blanking on his name and that's bad. D'Amico Ryans, Houston.
Yeah, I would also throw Sean Payton in there. Just Denver winning games.
Sure.
Baltimore side, little more fantasy play. Derrick Henry, you're going to play him. Mark Andrews, I think he's outside the realm. Like I would play
Ferguson over Mark Andrews.
There we go.
I agree.
We got a guy to play Jake Ferguson over.
And I'm like, yo, my guy had 2 catches for 18 yards for Cincinnati, and they cannot stop a tight end if their life depended on it. I'm cool. Give me Jake Ferguson over Mark Andrews.
Yeah. Baltimore, Zay Flowers, he's flex play. Yep. Derrick Henry obviously locked in. Lamar Jackson, we back in playing him again, or do you try to go elsewhere?
No, you have to play Lamar, and like that's such a hard question because like people are listening and like, oh, do I play Lamar? Yada yada yada. you got to live and die by the guys that are like they're superstars for a reason.
Mhm.
And like even Justin Jefferson this week, I would say I would start Wandale over him. I've literally had Justin Jefferson in my home league lineup every single week since I've traded for him, and it's burnt me in the ass every single fucking week. And I still have him in my lineup because I'm living and dying by that sword. He's Justin Jefferson. It's no different than this is Lamar Jackson. You have to play him, bro. Like if you've made it this far with Lamar and you have 2 games left to win your championship, I'm sure shit gonna tie my boots to Lamar Jackson over like.
Yeah,
I don't even know. Like, I can't even think of a guy that
I absolutely agree with Lamar. I think this is going to be a big game for him. Yeah. I think we're looking at a 3-4 touchdown game, and I also think we're looking potentially at that for Drake May as well. I think this game could get high in a scoring wise. I actually think Baltimore wins.
Whoa, that's nuts. I do not. I think New England is what they showed me versus Buffalo. I thought Buffalo was going to mop the floor with and win by 10 points. They were up 21-0. Give me New England in this game. Honestly, 10 out of 10 times this year. I think New England's going to. They're like a really good team, bro.
All right, Monday Night Football. San Francisco 49ers. They travel to Indianapolis to take on Grandpa Phillip Rivers and the Colts. Niners 6-point road favorites. Over unders 46.5. Brock Purdy looked great on Sunday. I think he's in play. Like I would play him over Stafford and Baker, like the line we've kind of been given there. Christian McCaffrey, obviously in your lineup. Juwan Jennings, he had 3 catches. 2 of them were touchdowns. Only had like 30 yards. You playing him versus the Colts?
I am because Ricky Pearsall is not going to be out there. He re-aggravated his injury, which is insane because Ricky Pearsall actually looked good last week. And this is what we talked about. It was like, go get Ricky Pearsall before he blows up. And he was actually being used. And he was
had a nice game.
Yeah, he's seen 7 targets, brought in 6 for 95 of them. He looked good, but he got re-hurt. I don't think Pearsall's on the field this week. So I think Jennings is in line for a really, really good week this week.
Colts, how do you feel about them?
Jonathan Taylor and that's it.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, only Colt for me. Like Tyler Warren, like he's been great for you, but it's tough to trust his output with Phillip Rivers, and that goes for Pittman. And good call on Josh Downs. You said he was going to be involved. He got a touchdown on Sunday for Phillip there in the Colts. But yeah, for me, it is just Jonathan Taylor. If I'm going to play another one, it would be Tyler Warren just because of scarcity at tight end.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think the Colts, like I would play Khalil Shakir over any of the Colts receivers.
100, yeah, it's not even close for sure. Yeah. I would play Tyler Warren would be the second Colt I would play, but Jonathan Taylor is the only Colt I'm playing, and it's not with near the confidence I was playing Jonathan Taylor at before.
No, yeah, he goes from like locked in RB1 to like at best he's like a low end RB1, but you're looking at more RB2
territory. Yep, for sure
for him. Yeah. Yeah, obviously, and then George Kittle on the other side. He's locked in your lineup.
For sure.
For San Francisco, I think the Niners win this game as they continue rolling on here.
Yeah, I think the Niners win this game. Man, the Colts season is going to be insane.
Colts defense is keep them around. Like they almost beat Seattle, and that was thanks to the defense. Offense was fine, but Phillip Rivers only going to throw for 120, 150 yards max. Each week. Like this isn't a guy who's going to put up 300 yards. So the offense is definitely capped here going forward, but kudos to the defense keeping them into that game this past week. I think that'll be the case here, but eventually that's going to run out of steam here and taper off. But I expect the Niners to win this one.
Yeah, I think the Niners are going to win. The Colts are kind of just coasting until the end of the year. It is what it is. It sucks, man. A couple weeks ago, they were, in my eyes, easily going to make the playoffs. I probably would have bet so much money on the Colts making the playoffs at the end of the season. And just at the drop of a hat, man, you lose your quarterback and everything just starts going south, man. And you bring in a 44-year-old grandpa to play quarterback. So
yeah, shout out Phillip Rivers though.
I'm not going to say he looked better than I thought he would, but he looked like a 44-year-old man out there. I watched that man get off the ground a lot, and I'm like, that is an old-ass man, bro.
Kudos to him, though, securing 5 more years of health insurance for him and his wife and his 10 kids.
Oh, yeah, dude.
By getting back into the league. So he's working the system. Big brain move.
Oh, yeah. We love to see it.
Philly Rips. Yeah. But yeah, San Francisco wins here. All right. that'll do it. One episode this week, so it's a little long.
Holidays.
And then same case next week. It'll be one episode. We got Thursday. We got Christmas football. We got Saturday football. So 3 games on Christmas.
Yeah,
So
I'm excited.
that'll be fun. Yeah.
Holiday season next week, baby.
Hell yeah. So enjoy the holidays. Be safe out there. Shoot out into the comments, plays of the week for you, or guy, sit questions that you may have, and then whatnot. And then, of course, if you haven't already and you listen to the whole thing, like, rate, subscribe, review, all that good stuff. We appreciate the support. We will catch you guys next Tuesday.
I don't want to hear any of that in the comment. I want to know your favorite Christmas cookie. That's what I want to know. That's the information I want to know. Let me know your favorite Christmas cookie.
Well, what's your favorite
yours?
Christmas cookie?
Oh, you're asking me.
It was funnier when you said it, though.
It was way funnier when you said it. Man, I know this is going to be a hot take. I don't think a chocolate chip cookie is a Christmas cookie. That's just a year-round cookie.
Everyone
that's just like an every year cookie. If Snickerdoodles count as Christmas cookies, I would lean that way.
I consider Snickerdoodles Christmas cookies.
But there's something about like those thin cutout cookies, bro, that are just like sugar cookies with sprinkles on top
cutout cookies. Yeah.
I love them. I love that shit, bro. I munch that shit up all the time.
I dread the day when one of us is going to have to continue that tradition because I don't think we're going to make them as good. I'm no baker, so I'm doomed.
Hey, we'll figure it out. I'm
breaking news on the podcast. Jeremiah Love just declared for the NFL draft.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah.
I seen Schefter's post. I was going to bring it up, and I'm like, let's go. But no, I would not live in a world without good cutout cookies. So I'll be damned.
Yeah, I'll ask Ash. She's the baker. She can.
There we
work
go.
on it.
She's got it.
Do you consider those little peanut butter cookies with the Hershey Kisses put on top?
Those are
Christmas
good,
cookies.
Bro. Those are good.
Slap. Yeah,
those slap,
Christmas cookies. Yeah, I agree with Nick. Also, throw out your favorite Christmas cookies. Give us a start sit like Snickerdoodle versus cutout. Like who you starting this week for Christmas cookie bake off?
God, that's the matchup I'm dying to see, baby.
Yeah. All right. We'll catch you guys next week for the big Christmas episode. Adios.
Bye.